Hello, good morning, and welcome to another exciting time to talk about the best of stories in the world of sports. It is Sports Central, and my name is Bladon Kim. The guys are seated on the table of greatness, all tished up and ready for it. You see Infantino having that praise movement upward. It means all the possibilities that could come with the world of sport. And part of the conversation this morning would be around Australian Open that just ended over the weekend. Yannick Sinner, world number one, winning it back-to-back after beating Alexander Zverev, a three-setter stretch set in that direction. And we're talking about Madison Keys. We have spoken about the U.S. International having the keys towards the Australian Open. After faltering our lines in 2017, found a way to come back 8 years after, to get a victory in this one, which spanned through, makes all the difference. Unfortunately, good morning. We saw Manchester United 8th consecutive victory for them at Craven Cottage, makes all the difference. Good morning, good to see you.
Well, luckily for me today, Manchester United is not my focal point. I'm looking at Madison Keys. 10 years ago, she met the semi-finals of the Aussie Open, and since then, she's been unable to win a Grand Slam for herself. She talked about it during the interview, and I was so emotional. I almost cried for her because she said that she was almost at the point of, thinking that she might just be ending her career without a Grand Slam, but it was not to be as she dispatched Arena Zabalenka. Congratulations to Madison Keys.
Well, we'll have lots of time to talk about the details of it. Richard David, good morning. So good to see you. What stood out for you over the weekend?
It has to be Yannick Sinner, most especially, making life quite difficult for Alexander Zverev. It was more like a light walk of the German international. It didn't look like a final for me because there was no push, whatever, from Alexander Zverev. At some point was increasingly becoming quite frustrating by, of course, Yannick Sinner taking him to the baseline. But it is what it is. The man is a quality player. Little wonder he's world number one at the moment, showing that consistency and quality stuff.
Consistency always going to be the watchword when it has to do with sporting activities around the world are the best superstars turning up to the party. Since we're talking about consistency, let's talk about female Yellow Greens, Yellow Greens Junior, the under-19 ICC T20 World Cup. We've seen a perspective that comes with it, and not many people really gave them a chance first to qualify for the World Cup, but it happened after getting past the likes of Zimbabwe during the African qualifiers to be at the tournament, the World Cup. Rain being a factor, but similarly, it's been the same story for them, qualifying for the Super 6 in that group. But the conversation is, it seems to be the end of the road for the Yellow Greens. Well, part of the first conversation to look at would be the very fact that the team were given $5,000 as a World Cup boost in that direction. Well, the Sports Ministry, not just the National Sports Commission, granted them $5,000, an equivalent of 7.56 million naira, a boost in that campaign. Talking about this announcement that was made on Sunday at the 16-nation tournaments, they gear up for the last Super 6 match against Republic of Ireland. The Commission Director General Bukayo Olapede made a contribution of $1,000, which is about 1.512 million naira, to team captain Pieti Loki. Well, Utume David, I start a conversation with you now. We've seen the perspective that comes with these ladies, young girls doing their own and owning at the tournament. Sadly, seem to be at the end of the road going to the qualifications. After the game against England, well, rain disrupted the whole proceedings, and the game was abandoned at a point. They need to have 2 consecutive victories, but early hours of this morning, England also had that victory in that direction, joining South Africa to qualify for the semi-finals ahead of Nigeria.
Well, rather unfortunate that, of course, we're talking about the English under-19 team, getting that victory, because even if the female Yellow Greens had victory in their game, they would also rely on the results by England to qualify to the next phase of a competition. But I'm quite proud of them. Heads up, most especially looking at the very fact that they have been able to, of course, gather strength. First of all, qualifying for the World Cup for the second time in Nigeria's history, and thirdly, also qualifying from the group phase to the knockout stage is something we should be proud of. And I've seen, of course, massive development from here. First of all, it's about experience, because they were actually facing one of the top teams internationally. So that shows you the remarkable, of course, strides that have been posted by, of course, the world of cricket in Nigeria. Secondly, I think I want to thank, of course, the Sports Commission for also, getting out a helping hand. It's something we've not seen, in recent times, most especially for cricket. In fact, the Ministry of Sport, I do not think throughout the last 3 years, we've always been talking about, support for the cricket world or the cricket community. It didn't come by. But I feel more should be done. I probably think the money would have been given before the start of the tournament. But since it has been given, it could also go a long way to help the girls, fund, of course, their what they wear, and of course, the facility they use in training most especially, come back home, re-strategize, other major international tournaments would come, and I can only say there will be growth process from here for the ladies.
A good process for the ladies. Was it just amount of money being given in terms of donation to encourage them to fight and qualify to the semi-finals of the tournament taking place in Malaysia? But somehow, it's going to be difficult now, especially when England has qualified in that direction. Well, Akanemo Akufo joins the conversation this morning. He's a known sports analyst, and not just sports analyst, a keen follower of cricket, journalist in that direction. Akanemo Akufo, good morning. So good to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning, Blyden. Good to have you this morning.
All right, fantastic to have you back. In recent times, it's been you and Ifyok giving us insights regarding the world of cricket and the tournament taking place in Malaysia. Well, we saw some games took place yesterday, early hours of the morning too, but let's concentrate on the one that took place early hours of the morning. It was England women under 19 taking on New Zealand women under 19, a second game for them, especially in the Super 6 groupings that they are. Well, the consequence happened. England women under 19 defeated New Zealand women under 19 by 6 wickets. I want to ask what a consequence this has been placing in Nigeria's group and our performance. We can also look at the groupings now, Group 1 and Group 2 of the Super 6, and what a consequence is, because the same South Africa as well as England has qualified ahead of Nigeria in this direction. Give us your perspective towards this.
Okay, thank you, Blyden. It was a heartbreaking moment this morning when we had the news that England has taken the upper hand against New Zealand women under 19 team in the Malaysia World Cup. It was foreseen, no doubt, because England coming into the Super 6, they had advantage with the points. Don't forget, you move over to the Super 6 with the points that you have beaten the qualifiers of Super 6. So Nigeria moving there with 2 points that was gotten from the match against New Zealand.
Yeah.
And quite interestingly, the girls were on the contrary, saying that they were out to take the full 2 points against England, which they ran watch out, because that would have given them added advantage, meaning that they would have still waited for this last game to decide who takes the ticket to the last quarterfinals. So, to England, they have certain performance beginning from their captain, Davina Perrin, and of course the wicket taker that set the doom for New Zealand, talking about Tilly Coleman. They did quite an outstanding performance there. But we are looking forward to something on Wednesday game, notwithstanding. If Nigeria wins that game, emphatically, we have automatic ticket into the next World Cup without going through the qualifiers process.
All right, good perspective there. Good perspective to look forward to Akanemo Akufo at the Maxwell defense. Let's look at the table group, Super 6 Group 2, where Nigeria belongs. Because at number 1, we see South Africa. They've qualified, played 3 games, won 3, and lost none so far. The Maxwell defense, 6 points gathered. And Group 2, the second qualifier, England women, they played 4 games. They've won 2, lost in that direction, none. Tied also none. Question is 6 points for them. And Nigeria at number 3. And according to Akanemo Akufo, the next game is consequential for Nigeria. If they get a better of Ireland, that will be on Wednesday. The game takes place. That gives Nigeria automatic qualification for the tournament. Well, Akanemo, still sticking with you before I get to talk about Talking Fonitina and the guys here. You've seen the teams that have qualified: South Africa, England in Group 2 of the Super 6, and in the other group, Group 1 of Super 6, is Indian women as well as Australian women. We've seen the form from Australia so far this tournament, as well as a form from South Africa. They've been absolutely fantastic. India women, we know they're such a wonderful country when it has to do with cricket. What are we looking for? Postulation from you. Who ends up getting the victory at the semi-finals of this one and winning the tournament?
Okay, looking at Blyden, I would say I am foreseeing possibly in this end either India, South Africa final or India, England final. And if England has to be there in the final, I think we would want to go down the same history lane as the first in 2023 where they lost to India. I think England women would put up a better this time around. But the bowling attack of South Africa to make me believe that they can have a chance to go into the finals of this particular edition. Looking at the Group 1, of course, Australia has been doing well, but I believe that the consistency of the top three, talking about India, Australia, and South Africa, to me, the consistency is mostly around India and South Africa. So that's why I give this one to India to be in the final. But back to our own girls, I believe that NCAs, notwithstanding, have attained their major target, which was playing in the World Cup platform. That was one of the targets of this administration under Uyiya Fata. And Piety Lucky has led the girls to do just that. The second target for Nigeria was going into the World Cup, they should announce their presence. I think every nook and cranny of the world has seen that Nigeria has some of as far as cricket is concerned. And they've taken themselves to the Super 6 stage. Just yesterday, I saw some friends from Zimbabwe appreciating the Nigerian girls who defeated them to take the qualifiers and play into the Super 6. Meaning also that for them and other Africans, this is a big jubilation because the slot for Nigeria, for Africa, is most likely to increase from 2 to 3 when Nigeria beats Ireland, which the girls are looking so forward to do that on Wednesday.
All right.
So finally, back home, I want us to take advantage of what Uyiya Fata has extended to us. Some of our girls are there in the team, and there's a beautiful facility just at their backyard, talking about Comsecom, Ibiapritam, a net facility and a third wicket. So if we can rally around and support the cricket family and make sure that there are good grooming process, investment, whoever is coming in as a commissioner, whoever is the ACA to the governor on sport, would rally around and see that that momentum is sustained, that we increase from 2 slots in the national team to up to 5, just like the national senior women team. And also for the boys, we can do that. We can really achieve that.
All right. Akademo Akufre, thank you very much. Good perspective. Looking forward to Nigeria's game on Wednesday against Republic of Ireland. Peseta to put Nigeria in the next World Cup. It will be a conversation. Thank you for being a part of the show today, Akademo.